How long can a building last in the ever-changing city of New York? New York is known for always changing, and sometimes it doesn't keep old things when new and shiny things come along. The same powerful force that made Manhattan a city full of tall skyscrapers has also destroyed many old and special buildings. Having a special status can help protect a building, but it doesn't guarantee its safety. While survival is essential, what does it take for an old building to do more than just survive? In a city where really expensive skyscrapers are the talk of the town, what value do older buildings bring besides their history? The Woolworth Building is one of the city's most famous skyscrapers, but its history is a bit complicated, not always as grand as it looks. Built at the beginning of the skyscraper era, it went out of style quickly. And with high maintenance costs, the story of how it survived tells us a lot about how buildings live on the Big Apple. Welcome to Superstructures. In 1910, the owner of a retail empire, Frank Winfield Woolworth, decided to build a new headquarters for his company. Initially, he didn't want something too grand, stating he didn't want a monument for himself. However, his plans changed, and later that year, he approved the construction of a skyscraper. This skyscraper aimed to be the tallest in the world and gained the nickname the Cathedral of Commerce. This name reflects its design, and it's interesting to note that during this period in the United States, skyscrapers replaced the dominance of religious buildings in city skylines worldwide. Intending to incorporate the beauty of heritage into the city, architect Cass Gilbert opted for a Neo-Gothic style for his design of the Woolworth Building. He aimed to weave this beauty into the pattern of contemporary civilization. Gilbert's design featured European Gothic elements, including arches and tall windows. Despite its Gothic inspiration, the building was undeniably modern, boasting features like a 57th floor observation deck and a basement pool, elements that wouldn't seem out of place on today's skyscrapers. Completed in 1912, it stood at a towering height of 241 meters, reigning as the world's tallest building until the completion of the Chrysler Building in 1930. As the 1960s unfolded, the Woolworth Building faced a decline. A new era of skyscrapers emerged, embracing minimalism and functional aesthetics. Buildings like the Union Carbide Building and the World Trade Center symbolized this shift, rendering the ornate style of the Woolworth Building outdated. The survival of structures like the Woolworth was uncertain, especially considering the demolition of the iconic Singer Building, once the world's tallest in 1969. Skyscrapers, reflecting economic conditions and architectural trends, were subject to the changing tides of both. Securing a future in New York often involves obtaining landmark status, a designation granted by the New York City Landmarks Preservation Commission since its establishment in 1962. Although intended to protect structures like the Woolworth Building, it's not a guarantee, as demonstrated in 1970 when the Preservation Committee abandoned plans to designate the Woolworth Building as a landmark due to owner objections about restrictive modifications. By 1962, the original terracotta tiles needed constant repair, leading to rusting of the steel structure. Extensive renovations in 1977 addressed these issues, including window replacement and retiling. The Woolworth Building faced a potential loss of its ornate tiling when a cost-cutting plan considered recladding it in concrete, a move that escalated from an estimated $8 million to $22 million. Despite over half the expenses covered by tax breaks, landmark status was finally granted in 1982. While this spared the Woolworth Building from demolition, thriving in the changing landscape remained uncertain. Today, it's not alone in grappling with the survival as New York's office space contends with challenges post-pandemic, facing competition from cities like Miami and adapting to evolving work patterns. Currently, occupancy rates in the city are only 41% of pre-pandemic levels. Even the Union Carbide Building, once a herald of architectural change, has been demolished to make room for new towers. The intricate architecture of the Woolworth Building has matured, prompting its owners to leverage its prestige for a transformation into luxury accommodation, a challenging endeavor in itself. In 2012, Alchemy Properties embarked on a 7-year project to convert the top 30 floors of the Woolworth Building into 33 apartments and a 5-story castle-in-the-sky penthouse. Due to the building's delicate ornamentation, location in Lower Manhattan, and orientation, conventional methods like building a crane next to it were ruled out. Instead, each element of the refurbishment had to be small enough to fit into the building's lift shafts. While this unique approach drove up costs, the initial budget was $150 million, including the building sale. The final price reportedly reached as high as $220 million. The big question remains, will it all be worth it? Despite the lavish features of the luxury apartments and the growing demand for ultra-premium residential properties in Manhattan, the sales of these units have been sluggish. As of 2021, only 22 out of the 33 apartments were sold. And earlier this year, the Penthouse finally found a buyer after 6 years on the market, fetching only $30 million, a fraction of the initial asking price of $110 million. What does this signify for the historic Woolworth Building? Is this the dawn of a new chapter or simply another unsuccessful attempt? Only time will unveil the answer. However, one lesson from this legendary structure is that even for an architectural marvel, nothing is guaranteed. As always, if you found this video enjoyable and crave more content from the Ultimate Video channel covering everything awesome, ensure you're subscribed to Superstructures. Thank you for watching!